Hey guys, I'm here today in Bucharest, Romania. It's got its own culture, it's got its history, it's got a unique beauty, and mixed with all that is a little bit of disappointment. And in this video, I'm going to tell you my loves and hates of Bucharest, Romania. Okay, first thing you should know is I only had about 24 hours to explore Bucharest. I didn't get the full enchilada. And so what I have to say here is my opinions that come from a first impression of the city. But I did get around a bit and see a few of the different sites. And so here's what I'm going to tell you about it. This city used to be called the Paris of the East. Listen, the architecture here is kind of neat, interesting, intriguing. There clearly is a French influence or Western European influence here that goes back from the 19th century. And you sense that around. It's in a lot of the buildings have this beauty to them. Now, there is also an influence of the Soviet era, the communism that ruled here between the 1940s and the 1990s. And so you do sense that as well, and it's kind of a unique mix. The people here are genuine and friendly. I had some good conversations with a number of people, and I really liked what I found, that people here seemed warm, willing to talk to you, and I enjoy that. It was friendly conversations here in Bucharest. One thing I love about this city is the fountain. Amazing. One of the most beautiful fountains in the world. It's enormous. It's a big round fountain, and there's some offshoots of it. I stay by the fountain for like an hour, just walking around and gathering some pictures. There are a number of parks in this city all around. I got to visit a couple of them and just walk through and saw. And any city that has a lot of parks, I'm a fan of. There were people walking around the parks. There were some shops, some street fairs. And you got to love it when a city has some beautiful parks and open space. Compliments to Bucharest on its city planning and the number of parks throughout. The Old Town area was impressive. I walked through it in the evening. I stopped and had some dinner at a little Japanese restaurant, and I was impressed. Now, there was a soccer match going on, a football match. It was a championship match, and so everybody was out and enjoying a good time. But the city, clearly, the Old Town area of the city was vibrant. There's plenty to eat, plenty to do, and the feel and the vibe is similar to what you feel in many cities, but it was kind of neat to see that in the heart of Bucharest. One thing I didn't get to see here is what they call Therm, which is one of the largest health spas in all of Europe. People come from all over. I had planned on it. Unfortunately, I had to catch an earlier flight out, and so I didn't get to experience Therm, which many people say is one of the primary reasons to come to Romania. Somewhat easy to get around this city. That's another thing to like. Uber is here. I had no problem finding an Uber. I also was able to hail a taxi. And so you have those options. There also is a mass transit system here. And so you can hop on a train, you can grab an Uber. Getting around is not too bad and easy and not really that expensive either. You know, what I found in Southeastern Europe, and Bucharest is no exception, is that it's pretty reasonable. The prices here are not what you find in Western Europe, in Paris and Barcelona. It's much cheaper here. And you know, you can find a good quality dinner. In my case, I had Japanese for dinner. I spent like $8 or the equivalent of $8. And so you get accommodations, you get food for cheaper than you're going to find in some of the big capitals of Western Europe. So that's a plus. Walking around, Eastern Europe is not Western Europe. There's much more grittiness here. There's not as much wealth. This is not Paris or Vienna or even Prague. This definitely kind of has more of a grittiness, and you find that that's just the way it is in Eastern Europe. It's much less wealth in the city, and it's not as kept up quite as nice. There are some blighted areas, and Bucharest certainly has its share of those. Smoking is still a thing here, and I saw a lot of young people doing it, which is disturbing. This is something where I think the United States leads the world on. And here in Europe, particularly Eastern Europe, you do have a lot of places where smoking is still very much in vogue. And I saw a lot of young people, even teenagers, people in their early 20s, pulling out a cigarette and smoking it. And it kind of a disappointment. Certainly not unique to Bucharest, but something that it could improve on. Okay, another thing that was really a disappointment for Bucharest is the graffiti. It just seems crazy that a city with this much beauty and intrigue and a unique history would have such a terrible problem with graffiti. But it was everywhere here. And now let me tell you, maybe the most disappointing thing was I went to the main plaza. This is the National Plaza. The revolution occurred here. And the area was, I felt, in disrepair. There was graffiti on the monuments. You had some unkept sidewalks, and you had some stonework that was broken off and scattered around. That's unacceptable for a place like Bucharest here in Europe to have a situation where their national plaza is in disrepair. And so I kind of felt like, come on, Bucharest, step up a little bit here. Let's make this city a shining gem once again like it should be. And I could see how in another decade or two, if the economy is well and there's a little bit of money flowing into this city and the vibrance kind of comes back, I could see how it could reclaim that former glory. But as of now, still a neat place to visit. Probably not the high end of my list personally, but there you have it. Things I love and things I hate about Bucharest, Romania.